What engine should you pick when buying a Chevy Silverado or GMC Sierra 1500? With several options to choose from, you want to pick the one that best suits your needs and be aware of any potential issues associated with certain engines, as some do have known problems. Stick around until the end, because we'll cover one thing everyone should be doing, though many aren't, that can help prevent issues and extend your engine's life, no matter which powertrain you go with. The 2.7-liter turbo 4-cylinder, or the Turbo Max, is a surprisingly solid choice, producing 310 horsepower and a healthy 430 pound-feet of torque. Even though it's a 4-cylinder, it still delivers decent acceleration, hitting 0 to 60 in around 7 seconds. Not the fastest, but definitely respectable. What's even more impressive is the low-end torque, with the engine hitting its maximum torque at just 3,000 RPM. This gives it excellent driving dynamics, both around town and while towing, with plenty of torque right where you need it, different than a naturally aspirated V8 that delivers more of its power at higher RPMs. It's pretty efficient too, getting around 18 to 21 miles per gallon depending on how your truck is set up, and it can tow up to 9,500 pounds. That makes it a great option for daily drivers who want a good mix of power and fuel savings. Being smaller and lighter than the V8s, this engine makes the front end feel lighter and more responsive, which is nice for handling. On the downside, the sound isn't great. It doesn't have that deep, throaty rumble you get with a bigger engine. More like that raspy, tinny sound you get from most 4-cylinders, and it's not as smooth running as a V8. Still, for a little engine, it's pretty reliable, proving that a smaller displacement, more complex engine doesn't necessarily equal worse reliability to this point. It hasn't been around that long, only since 2019, but it's holding up well so far, especially compared to some of the issues popping up with other engines in the lineup. A turbo 4-cylinder engine is more complicated than a traditional V8, but it avoids the reliability issues that come with cylinder deactivation. While turbos add extra parts that need maintenance, they keep all cylinders working all the time, unlike V8s with cylinder deactivation. Owners with this engine are surprisingly satisfied with its power and performance. If you're looking for something modern, efficient, and capable, this engine is definitely worth a look. For those who prefer a traditional V8 for its sound, performance, and capability, the 5.3-liter V8 is a decent option, delivering 355 horsepower and 383 pound-feet of torque. It has plenty of low-end grunt, but it's not delivered quite the same as the Turbo 4, since maximum torque isn't until 4,100 RPM. It'll get about 17 to 21 miles per gallon, and it has a towing capacity of up to 11,200 pounds, making it a decent choice for towing and hauling. On top of that, you get that classic V8 sound, something many truck buyers just can't do without. And it's easy to see why. There's nothing like that deep V8 rumble when you fire it up, accelerate, or cruise down the highway. And if you want to amp it up even more, an aftermarket exhaust can really bring it to life. Unfortunately, there are some problems you need to be aware of before buying one of these 5.3-liter engines. When GM first came out with this engine way back in the day, it was extremely dependable with very few issues, easily seeing a couple 100,000 miles. However, since GM started using cylinder deactivation, first known as active fuel management and later changed to dynamic fuel management, the story hasn't been the same. There have been consistent lifter problems with this engine, which causes rough running and poor performance if you're lucky, and sometimes complete and sudden breakdown. These issues are known to pop up regardless of mileage, with some people having problems on 1-week-old trucks and others having the same problem multiple times. If the truck is under warranty, GM will obviously address the problem, but they've been known to do the absolute minimum amount of repairs, like only fixing one side of the engine, which means the other side could very well fail at some point. Owners have found a way to reduce the likelihood of issues caused from the system by disabling it. It does reduce the likelihood of the lifters failing, but since the subpar lifters are still inside the engines, it's not a fix-all solution. Plus, it will void your warranty if you have one. The 6.2-liter V8 is the most powerful engine in the lineup, with 420 horsepower and 460 pound-feet of torque, giving you a nice boost in power over that 5.3 for those who have a lead foot and need the extra power for towing. Maximum torque is achieved at the same 4,100 RPM as the 5.3. Expect the 0 to 60 times to be around 6 seconds or slightly below. It has a towing capacity of up to 13,300 pounds, but has a lower fuel efficiency of about 15 to 20 miles per gallon. It also requires premium fuel, which can easily increase your fill-up costs by 20%. That's the equivalent of a 3 to 4 miles per gallon hit to your fuel efficiency for people who are conscious of that type of thing. An option with this engine is the active exhaust, which allows you to change the exhaust note by switching the drive mode into sport. This gives you the best of both worlds, a nice throaty exhaust sound when you want it, and a nice quiet ride when you don't. Even without that option, you can add your own exhaust and enjoy that amazing V8 sound all the time if you want. Unfortunately, it does have the same lifter issues as the 5.3, since it's basically the same engine. So you never really know if it's going to break down, but hopefully it's while the truck is still under warranty, so you're not left footing the bill. The 3-liter Duramax 6-cylinder turbo diesel is a newer and pretty exciting option that's been around since 2019. It cranks out 305 horsepower, but what's really impressive is its solid 495 pound-foot of torque, which gives it a 0 to 60 time of about 7 seconds. Sure, it's not the fastest off the line, but diesels are all about low-end torque. And this one delivers, with its maximum torque available at 2750 RPM, and 94% of its torque available at 1500 RPM. However, it has a much lower redline than a gas engine. You'll really notice that extra pulling power where it counts, especially for towing or hauling. Fuel economy is another big win here, with this engine getting around 23 to 27 miles per gallon, which is super impressive for something this capable. It can tow up to 13,300 pounds, matching the 6.2-liter V8, so you're not sacrificing performance for efficiency. It's also a smooth engine, which makes it great for long drives or heavy-duty jobs. Diesel engines do have a few drawbacks, like slightly higher maintenance costs, but these have proven to be pretty reliable so far. If you're looking for a truck with great fuel efficiency, excellent towing capability, and smooth performance, the 3-liter Duramax is definitely worth considering. Proper maintenance, like regular oil changes, is more critical than ever as engines become increasingly complex. Modern engines, such as those of the collapsible lifters in the 5.3 and 6.2 V8s, or turbos in the 2.7 and 3-liter, rely heavily on clean, high-quality oil to function properly. They have many small moving parts, and turbos spin at extremely high RPM, breaking down the oil more quickly. Dirty, degraded, or broken down oil can cause premature wear or even lead to major failures in these advanced engines. One big shift in recent years is how much longer oil change intervals have become. 20 years ago, getting an oil change every 3,000 miles was standard practice. Now, due to supposed advancements in oil formulations and engine technology, many manufacturers recommend intervals of 10,000 miles or more. While this might sound convenient, it doesn't always mean it's the best idea for the longevity of the engine. Even with better oil and technology, sticking to shorter intervals, like every 5,000 miles or less, depending on your vehicle use and engine, can save you a lot of trouble in the long run. Clean oil is essential for keeping those lifters, turbos, and other intricate parts running smoothly. Considering how expensive repairs can get with today's engines, spending a little extra money on frequent oil changes is a small price to pay for peace of mind and a healthy engine. After all, a $100 oil change is a lot cheaper than a $5,000 repair bill. For the average person, the 2.7-liter turbo is an excellent choice due to its fuel efficiency and surprisingly healthy torque for towing, but buying a truck with a 4-cylinder engine is just not something many people want to do. For heavy-duty towing, the 6.2 or the Duramax are the obvious winners, providing great low-end power and towing capacity. But the 3-liter Duramax offers a really nice blend of towing capability and fuel efficiency. For those seeking balanced performance and affordability, the 5.3-liter V8 is a great sounding option that bridges the gap between capability and cost, even though it does have its problems. Another thing to note is that if you want that incredible V8 sound that many people love and prefer, even if it's not necessarily the most powerful engine, you're definitely going to want to stick with one of the V8s. But diesel enthusiasts will love the baby Duramax. The 2.7-liter Turbo 4 and the Duramax have the fewest amount of issues, but they're also the newest engines, having only been around for 5 or 6 years. You should really test drive each engine because how they drive can be completely different from what you'd expect. The 2.7 turbo is torquey and quick, the 3-liter Duramax is smooth and fuel efficient with exceptional low-end torque, the 5.3 is a great all-rounder, and the 6.2 delivers old-school power and the best full-throttle acceleration. Driving them yourself is the best way to see how they handle, sound, and feel. You might end up liking one more than you thought you would. Ultimately, the best engine for the Silverado and Sierra 1500 depends on budget, priorities, and whether or not you can forfeit displacement for other advantages, like torque and gas mileage. Honestly, they all have their strengths, and regardless of owners who have major engine failures, they've all been well received.